Hi everyone, welcome back to Real Preacher Patty. I'm your host Patty, and in today's video, I'm going to be covering the tragic case from Hazelwood East High School in Missouri. This tragic event occurred on March 8th, 2024, this past Friday. A 15-year-old Missouri girl was beaten unconscious and now has front lobe damage and a fractured skull. She was attacked by a black student from her high school, and the video has been circulating online or over social media platforms. When attacked, she lost consciousness and went into a seizure of her whole body shaking after her skull was bashed over and over again on concrete. The attacker was arrested on a first-degree felony. The St. Louis County Court has confirmed that she has been arrested on that felony charge, and the 21st Judiciary Circuit has also confirmed the hearing later this month will establish if she will be tried as an adult or as a minor. Now, as a minor, as she's 15 years old under the age of 18, her parents are her legal guardians. They are responsible for her. They should also be charged in this case for failing to raise her child properly and of encouraging violence, which has occurred in this situation. If she is tried as an adult, she will have to take full responsibility for her actions. This truly is a sad story, and the most recent update on Kaylee has been that she has not woken up. She has a brain bleed, she has a front lobe fracture, and her skull is also fractured. She has not regained consciousness. She is still unconscious at the hospital, which is extremely sad for her and for her family, and I really do hope that she pulls through. But this is also really important for the attacker. She bashed her head on concrete over and over again without consciousness herself. So if she's going to be tried as an adult, that's one thing. But if Kaylee were to die, she's responsible for murder and manslaughter. That is another charge implicating death. Now, there are a couple interesting factors of this case, and I will be also speaking about my reflection on it and why this is happening. Now, let's go into some detail about the high school itself, their program, and why this situation occurred in the first place. The Hazelwood East High School in Missouri has been awarded by North County Incorporated, NCI, not once, but twice, award for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, DEI. In 2021 and in 2022, 2 years in a row, they received that award. The school focuses on diversity, equity, inclusion so much with indoctrination and brainwashing of children, they do not educate them properly on math, reading, writing, science, and any other important topics. They have failed to educate students to meet standards, the minimum standards of education in the United States from the federal public school system. Now, we know that the federal public school system is indoctrinating and brainwashing children. Instead of teaching them important subjects, they're teaching them LGBTQ content with sex books, with LGBTQ flags, and nothing related to actual education. The test scores of the school show that 5% of the students, 5% are proficient in math. That means 95% of the students do not know how to do math, calculating, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and doing complicated equations. 21% of the students are proficient in reading. That means 79% of students don't know how to fully read. They do not know how to comprehend text, read textbooks, many pages, and do activities related to that. Furthermore, for proficiency in reading, the county general test score tested at 26%, while this high school's tested at 11. This clearly exemplifies that the school is more focused on diversity, equity, inclusion than teaching their children education. Now, diversity, equity, inclusion, just like climate change, is one of the biggest scams, if not the biggest scam in public school systems. It is for brainwashing and indoctrinating children, focusing on division based on race, teaching them absolutely nothing, and it has nothing to do with actual diversity, equity, inclusion. It is a system and a program that is shoved down everyone's throat by the Democrats, and they all do it on purpose. They do it to divide us on race, divide us on critical race theory, and teach us everything except what we actually need to know. It is the responsibility of teachers to teach children education of actual science, math, writing, reading, actual learning, not pushing LGBTQ content, not pushing sex book, not putting out flags, but actually teaching them what they need to know. Diversity, equity, inclusion has nothing to do with that. Now, in this case, there are a couple of reasons why this event has occurred. First, as we just spoke about, diversity, equity, inclusion instead of educating children. But second one is encouragement of violence. As we have seen recently, in all major metropolitan cities led by Democrats, they do not punish crime. They have no bail policies where you commit a crime, you get out the same day, no bail, no problem, like nothing ever happened. This is the same occurring with young students and the young generation where they are violent, committing crimes, and there is no punishment for it. In this case, this story has gotten so much traction from the media, it is impossible for them not to address it. However, there have been many cover-ups prior and many other high schools of the same situations occurring where students are violent. They are bashing someone's head on concrete, they are punching each other, kicking each other, hitting each other. What kind of culture does this represent? It represents no values, no morals, and this is exactly what happens when you don't have that, especially instilled in the school system. Children go to school for 8 hours a day, and schools are indoctrinating and brainwashing them, which is why it is more important now than ever for parents to take their children out of public schools. Now, I know it's easier to say than to do, but it is truly so important. Parents need to take control of their children's education, what kind of teachers teach their children all day long, what kind of content they're seeing, what kind of books they're reading. They need to be involved in teacher-parent meetings, but ultimately they need to take their children out of public school. Public school is funded by the federal government that pushes their propaganda and indoctrination and has nothing to do with education of children. Children are becoming illiterate, as in this case, their test scores are down so much they can't even do basic math or reading. That is absolutely unacceptable, but they're focusing on DEI and getting 2 awards for it in a row. That cannot stand. We need to fight back because this is the future generations of this country. Children are being brainwashed, they're being indoctrinated, and teachers are doing it right in front of the students, and parents either don't know or they don't care, but they need to know. You need to know everything now that is happening with your children. Now, the third reason why this is happening and why this actually reflects our whole society is because people don't have God. When people have God, they know what is right, they know what is wrong. They have morals, they have values, and they want to live their life the best way they can. Not insulting others, not living in violence and crime and illegal activity. And when you don't have God in your heart, when you don't have a God in your house and at the schools, then that isn't a priority. Everyone that does not have God, they do not have a soul, which is why this is happening. Crime is skyrocketing everywhere, including these young students. These students should be going to school and taking advantage of all the normal education they can get. They should be flourishing in their life to become the best that they can. It doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white. The left always try to use race to divide us, which of course is on purpose because that way it keeps us busy, it keeps us fighting, it keeps our mind busy. Meanwhile, they're being able to do and rob and take all the money and do money laundering and instill more propaganda and indoctrination to our children through schools, through media, through social media, through everything that we touch and everything that we see. Now, if we were to switch the color of the skin in this case of race, and if it would be a white girl beating on a black girl, you know there would be protests on the street. People would be protesting with signs, screaming, yelling, burning buildings, looting everything, and the media would push the propaganda that this is about race. But in this case, it's reversed, and the left media hasn't really covered it. Nobody's talked about it. And I've read dozens of articles before I sat down here, and I realized that there really isn't much information. We do not even know the first or last name of the attacker. The victim, we know her first name. We do not know anyone that was in the crowd. We don't know who was recording the video. There were tens of people there. It wasn't just the two of them. So where are all these people? Where are their names? Where are their descriptions? Where are their pictures? Where has nobody really taken charge of this? Now, the Attorney General wants to charge the attacker as an adult that this criminal activity cannot stand. I agree, but where is the rest of the information of the case? Now, most recent update was that Kaylee, the victim, had a brain bleed, a fracture. She's still unconscious. Her family started a GoFundMe page. And this is the most recent news that they've come up with. There has been nothing else yet. First, I will make sure to keep you updated with the most recent news I find on a case and any breakthroughs. I'm just praying for Kaylee and for her family. I cannot imagine what they're going through right now, having their child's head beaten over and over again onto concrete. She is unconscious. She suffered frontal lobe damage. She has a brain bleed, and she has not regained any consciousness. For the sake of the attacker, she also better pray for Kaylee and her family because she is the one that's responsible for this. She's either going to be charged as a minor, with her parents should also be charged for that, or as an adult for committing this heinous crime. But she better hope that Kaylee doesn't die, because if she doesn't make it, it makes her case so much worse. I cannot believe that all of this was filmed and that we see this with our own eyes of a 15-year-old girl bashing another student's head onto concrete with no remorse. And this is what happens when you don't have God, and most important, when you don't have punishment for your actions. You're doing a heinous crime of violating someone in such a way that hurts them so badly, and you don't care. As always, Thank you so much for watching. May God bless you. May God bless America. And I'll see you in my next episode.